Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tom Baker Show. It is great to have you back with us once again, wherever you are tuning us in from. We are thankful to have you and excited about what we've got on the show tonight to talk about. And we have a very special guest to start us off. I'm going to introduce first my co-host and the Steering Wheel Nation news editor, Jacob Seelman, is back with us once again. And we've got a really cool guest, somebody that I know both Jacob and I have been waiting a while to have on one of these shows. And finally, we're able to work it out with his busy schedule. Andrew Kurland joins us, the former producer of content at Dirty Mo Media, and now a brand new full-time pit reporter for the Performance Racing Network for 2026. And Andrew, it is so cool to have you on. You are, to me, one of the most accomplished and prolific rising young media stars that I've seen in a while. You do a great job with everything that you do, and it's cool to be able to have you on and learn a little bit more about you.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's an honor to be on your show. I know I've known both of you guys for so long, and it's great that we can make it work. And you guys will always have the first episode or anything where I've been introduced with that title. So that's the first one. So it's cool to hear. I'm not used to hearing that. Yeah.
It's an honor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
but it's exciting.
Before I let Jacob jump in here, I want to know, just talk to us a little bit about, I mean, you were working for Junior, right? I mean, Dirty Mo seems like a great gig, but then now full-time pit reporter for PRN. Was that just more in line with the kind of media that you wanted to be doing?
Yeah. I mean, it was completely bittersweet leaving Dirty Mo. I mean, you develop a family there. And you know, a lot of those people there I'm really close friends with. We talk all the time still. It's like I haven't left. I'm just not in the office anymore. I still say we when, talking about Dirty Mo. But ever since I started in the NASCAR industry in the space, I looked up at Marty Smith and Rutledge Wood and, Dave Burns, Rick Allen as those idols of mine, where I want to be on pit road. I want to be on a broadcast. That it's a high, that live event feeling. And when the opportunity came about with PRN, it was just something I had to do. And they're a great group. They've made me feel so welcome, so part of the team. They are unbelievably talented. I mean, the people even behind the scenes are just extraordinary. So it's pretty neat to be able to wear that PRN logo on my chest and know I'm a part of it. It's been a dream of mine ever since I started following the sport.
All right. So you talk about the dream. Obviously, we've reached that now. So now I want to draw the string back all the way to the beginning, because I know a lot of people know your face. Now more are knowing your voice, Andrew. But I've known you, and you and I started talking way back at the very beginning for you. A lot of people probably don't realize that you were one of a very select group of young teenagers at the time that ended up part of what was then called NASCAR Acceleration Nation. Not hardly anybody outside of a team or a driver's family gets a credential or a hard card under the age of 18, and yet there you were at, I think it was 15? You were a freshman in high school, or a sophomore in high school when all this got started. I mean, take us back to the very beginning and how kind of this whole thing got kicked into high gear, because I know for you, it was a passion that very quickly became a whole lot more than that, maybe sooner than you expected.
Yeah. I mean, I'll go all the way back to when I fell in love with NASCAR. My dad watched it on TV for years and years and years. And I was the type of kid where I'm like, what's so exciting about this? Just cars going around in circles, like what's the big deal here? And then he took me to Chicagoland Speedway. It was July 2010. Kyle Busch won that Xfinity or nationwide race at the time, which of course he did. He won basically all of them back then. But we left halfway through the race because he was coming back the next day and he wanted to beat traffic. I'm like, are you kidding me? Seriously, we're leaving? This is like the best thing ever. So from that point, I knew I was hooked. And we'd roam around the garage and the infield, and the access to these drivers was unbelievable. So come Daytona 2014, I'm 12 years old. And I tell my dad, instead of getting an autograph that I can't read, 5 minutes after the driver gives it to me, let's bring a camera and a microphone and just ask some questions. So that's what we did. I was wearing a Jimmy Johnson hat. I was wearing shorts, and I was just this random little kid running around, in the garage. The first day, we interviewed like Clint Boyer, David Reagan, Mike Helton. This is right after they announced the playoff format. I just Mike Helton, I'm like, hey, can I ask you a few questions? Like, we didn't, and we're just kids. We didn't know this is not how you're supposed to do it. You got to go through the proper channels. But it sparked something inside all of us, and I just like talking to people. I'm a people person, and I feel like this career and this sport is perfect for what I love to do. So that's kind of how it started. And then, NASCAR, they credentialed us more formally. They're like, hey, this is great. We love what you're doing. And we started working with their kids program, which was Acceleration Nation at the time. And, the rest is history.
You talked about a few of the names. Now, I'm curious deeper than that. What were some of the is there a favorite interview or some favorite moments from that chapter? I'll call it the pre-Dirty Mo chapter that stick out to you.
Yeah, the checkered flag crew era, which was the name of the group that we called ourselves, the little kids running around the track. There's a few standout ones, but just the first that comes to mind was when Jimmy Johnson won his 7th championship. He was going through the media rotations. This is history. This is like the biggest moment of the decade in the sport. They finally another driver that's tied Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt, and I got to interview him that night. I'll never forget that. And my heart was beating so fast. Got to interview him on the 2nd floor of the Homestead Miami Speedway Media Center. And I don't think I've ever told this, live in person, but like that was just such a big moment. I cried in the bathroom afterwards, just like overwhelmed with how amazing that was. And it was just like, this is the coolest moment of my life. I love what I'm doing. And that's something I'll never forget.
Well, I was going to ask you if it had sunk in the moment, just how big that moment was. I guess you just answered the question with a very loud affirmative.
Yeah. And here's the worst, you do this whole thing and then like, you got to compose yourself and like, how you smile a little bit more after you cry? Like, yeah, no, it was cool. It was fine. So I walk out of the bathroom, just like smiling ear to ear, like too much. So like, just like, try to prove to people I wasn't just crying in the bathroom. No, but it was a really special moment.
I'm sure it was. How old were you when you were doing this?
That was in 2016. So I would have been about 14 or 15 years old. Yeah,
that's crazy. What kind of questions? I mean, did you have questions prepped, or were you just kind of shooting from the hip, or how did you? Because that's that's a big stage for a young media person to be on, talking to people like that.
Yeah. I think it was only one question, maybe two.
Oh, okay.
So, I got to ask the blanket, what is this moment like for you? I just wanted to get Jimmy's reaction to it. But no, I did a good amount of prep work back then. I'd write, my intro and outro on my notes in my phone, and I wanted to do a good job. And I learned that writing it's a big part of being on air. You got to be, a wordsmith with your vocabulary, and it's something I'm still working on. But I'll give my young self props. I feel like I wanted to do a good job. It's like a make or break type of thing.
Yeah.
So I put some I tried to put some thought into it. I tried to sound like all the broadcasters that I had, dreamed, that I'd grown up around. I just wanted to, fake it until I make it type of thing.
Yeah, I think we're all like that when we're young to a degree. You're sort of you take a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and then eventually the chemistry of it all becomes your unique blend, right? But I feel like we all sort of take from the heroes that we grew up listening to, at least stylistically, right? And but it's amazing that it seems like you just were always really kind of excited about communicating with the drivers more so than necessarily being a driver or any other role. It seemed like this was what you keyed in on real early, and you just never you pursued it right to where you are now.
Yeah, I think what helped us get to where we were was we were asking the different questions. We were asking if you were in a talent show, what would your talent be? I remember it was Brickyard 2014. Carl Edwards had just announced that he was leaving Roush to go to Joe Gibbs Racing. And I just walked up to him that day and I'm like, Carl, can we ask you a question or two? He's like, sure. And I asked him that question, like, what would your talent be? And he's like taken back. He's like, what? I just made a huge career, thing, but sure, let's talk about what my talent would be. But I think that's good. The drivers open up, you get different things out of them. And I feel like that's paid off because I think over time you get some respect from these drivers, and they know when they see your face that, oh, this is going to be fun. Like, this is going to be lighthearted. I don't have to worry about what I say. I can just kind of let loose. I can let my guard down. So, and that's great. And I feel like that's some of the best stuff and I'll give props where they're given. Jeff Gluck and Jordan Bianchi do a great job of this, of just like asking the personal, disarming questions, and you get such good answers. And I love that aspect of it. These drivers are cool guys, and if I can relate to them, I'm going to be a fan of them more.
Well, that's a great point. And I feel like the opportunity that you got at a young age also allowed you to just get comfortable at the top level faster, right? I mean, you didn't come from short track racing to NASCAR. You just kind of went straight to NASCAR. So it seems like you've just been extremely comfortable with it, as part of the big stage. And maybe it was a little bit of naivete because maybe at that age, you didn't realize quite how big the stage actually was that you were playing on.
I think that's exactly right. Yeah. I watch some of these old videos and it's crazy the questions that I ask. And I'm like, I can't believe I just asked that question. But I mean, people, they played into it, I got an opportunity with the kids program to be on NBC once a year. I think it was at Michigan, and be on the NBC broadcasts. And I interviewed Clint Boyer on the NBC broadcast before the race. And I asked him, if you were shrunk down to the size of a crouton, stuck in a blender, how would you get out? And he's like, this is the question you're asking me on live TV right now? I'm like, yeah, that's right. How'd you do it? But they encouraged that. Like, they wanted that type of stuff. So, I truly believe that NASCAR is a unique sport to where you can do this type of fun stuff. And I think that's great. That's like, I don't think I would have a career doing what I'm doing in any other sport the way I started, which is awesome. It's how it should be. NASCAR is so open and welcoming, and they give you a position to thrive.
Okay, so step 2 here. I want you to tell the how did it start story with Dirty Mo, and as a follow to that, then once you got in over there, what was the experience like, if you could even encapsulate it in words, producing the download for a stint and working with Dale?
Yeah. I'll start with how it started. It was during COVID. This is when Dirty Mo was actually working remote, recording shows on Zoom. they've, you know, this is like back in the early days of like, how do we record a podcast with everyone in different houses and everything? So like my first job was to pin Mike Davis's camera and record it and just sit and record his ISO camera the whole show. And then I became a note taker and I took notes for the download for a few years. Then I started helping with editing the download and editing the guest show with Matthew Dillner and Alex Timms. And then the day actually I graduated college, I got an offer letter to go work with Dirty Mo full time. And so I packed up all my bags in Arizona and moved to North Carolina to start the Dirty Mo experience. And to the second point of your question, working with Dale on the download, he really genuinely cares. The amount of time and investment and the questions he's asking just as a host of the show, like they're really in depth. Like he wants to know what's performing, how do I do this? And like he's really invested behind the scenes, which made my job as a producer great because we would talk all the time. What do we want to talk about here? How are we going to do this and that? And for all the fans, like he's a hands-on type of guy. He genuinely loves the sport. He cares about it. It's his life. And what you see is what you get. I mean, that's him, whether he is on the air or he is sitting in the office space, just, you know, chit-chatting, shooting the breeze. Or whether he's on the phone calling you and he's in traffic and he's talking about, oh, I almost just ran a red light. That was close. like it's just the random type of stuff. And there's no audience. Like he's just him. So yeah, it was a pleasure to work with him.
And you mentioned coming from Arizona to Charlotte. Let's add that little tag in for those who don't fully know your background, that you didn't just come out of, you know, college in Arizona. You came out of this little place called the Cronkite School of Journalism at Arizona State. That's not small potatoes.
Yeah, just a small little college of Arizona State. No, it was great. And I still, you know, I learned so much from there, and it was extremely important, foundational 4 years, 3.5, to hone in on my skills. I got a chance to be an sports anchor on the Arizona PBS student-run broadcast, and every week I had to read off a teleprompter and tell you what the sports, what was going on in the sports world. And again, that taught me skills on how to write better, how to write something in my voice. And I use that every day that I'm pit reporting. You know, I can't type something how someone else would read it. I need to add in words and make it conversational. And, that's just one of the many skills that I learned there, but I wouldn't change anything. Maybe the only thing I would change is that I wish it was longer. I miss it. Those were good days in Arizona State, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I think I'm sure there's some stories, but we probably better save those for another day, or we'll run out of time to get to any of the rest of your racing career. So one of the things right away where I sort of became familiar with you when you went to Dirty Mo was when you were doing your longer form interviews. And that was something that really, I mean, I've been doing media since 1988, and I know how difficult it is to sit down and craft and produce and carry a long form conversation like that.
Yeah.
And you did it like a pro. I mean, you weren't interviewing small timers either. Talk a little bit about some of those longer interviews that you did with some of the legends of the sport.
Yeah. One of the most meaningful things that I think I'll ever have accomplished in my career, I think I already did. And that was to be able to sit down for 2 days and talk to Ken Squire. He was an idol of mine. We talk about those people that I cherished and wanted to be like. I mean, how can you get more top of the list than Ken Squire? And, that was one of those pinch me moments of just being able to hear him talk about all these moments that I fell in love watching on YouTube and watching him call races on the sport. And to this day, you know, if someone walks up to me at the racetrack, it's usually to talk about that conversation. And I agree with those people who were fans of it. It was one of the coolest things that I've ever done. And I still talk to his daughter, Ashley, all the time.
Oh, wow.
Especially when he comes up in conversation, I'll shoot her a text, and you know, we're still in constant communication. They're up in Vermont, you know, near Ken's old racetrack, and you know, they still love it. They still watch. They enjoy it, and it's really special to be close to the Squire family. That was something that I'll forever be able to take away as one of the amazing things I've been able to do in this career.
Ken Squire was one of the pioneers of motorsports media in general, and we still all miss him greatly. I think we always will. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have more with Andrew Kurland on the Tom Baker Show. Stay right where you are.
Attention track and series owners, elevate your fan experience with the TrackTune app. TrackTune works with your PA system. Fans and teams at the track can hear the announcers through their phones, ensuring everyone hears race calls, sponsor plugs, and more during race nights. It's simple to set up, affordable, and free for fans to download and enjoy. Visit tracktune.live for all the details and join tracks nationwide on the app today.
For over 50 years, FHS Superior Synthetic Oil has powered high-performance engines with unbeatable protection and speed. Whether it's drag racing, go-karts, sprint cars, stock cars, or your daily driver, FHS stands for high speed and delivers every time. Their advanced synthetic oils boost your engine's responsiveness, acceleration, and efficiency, giving you the winning edge on every lap. Visit FHSoil.com today to find the right products for your engine. FHSoil.com.
For race fans across the United States, GetInTheStands.com is the place to find racetracks where you live and where you're traveling. Just go to GetInTheStands.com and enter your location. You'll see the tracks within 100 miles of that point, either as a list or on a map. GetInTheStands.com is 100% free to use and mobile friendly. So whether you're on a computer, a tablet, or on your phone, there's no need to download an app. To find racetracks across the United States, open your web browser and head to GetInTheStands.com. GetInTheStands.com, your racetrack directory.
Welcome back to the show. We continue with our special guest, Andrew Kurland, now a full-time member of the Performance Radio Network broadcast staff after a number of years working for Dirty Mo Media, which means he was working alongside Dale Jr. and all of the other nuts that we are so faithful watchers of every week on all of their shows. I love Dale's show especially, and I have to ask because first of all, I would love to have a couple of memories and things that come to mind about working with Dale Jr., but I also want to ask, there had to be some bloopers from throughout the years that come to mind, just things that didn't go quite right with the show. Can you think of a story or two or 10?
Oh, bloopers for the download or just in general?
Oh, in general, but especially for the download.
Oh, for the download. Let me think on that. I mean, that's the thing is, like, in terms of behind the scenes blooper types of things, we really don't. I mean, when we talk about editing a show, it's really mostly just kind of cutting between segments and putting graphics in. So like what you see on the download is what you get. Not a blooper, but a funny moment this was after Chicagoland. And this was when I think it was Bubba Wallace hit Alex Bowman on the cool down lap and he got fined or suspended, or I can't remember what. Yeah. And Dale's like, you got to be an idiot to take your belts off in a moving race car. And I'm like, what? I feel like I see drivers do that all the time. What are you talking about, Dale? And he's like, no, you gotta be. Can I curse on this? I won't. You gotta be a dumb blank, to take your belts off in a moving car. And I'm like, whoa, where did this come from? And I go on YouTube as soon as the show is over, and I pull up 5 or 6 videos of Dale taking his belts off in a race car before he gets to pit road and stopped. I'm like, are you kidding me with this guy? So I printed them all out. And you can ask my former coworkers. I mean, I'd be sitting silently at my desk with my headphones on, and I would just go, are you kidding me? I found another video. So I print all these out. I print all the papers out. And the next week we get on the show, and I've got my folder of papers sitting right next to me on the desk, and I finally find the time. I'm like, hey, Dale, I got a question for you. Last week you mentioned about being an idiot to, take your belts off in a moving race car. And then I show him all the pictures, like, what about this? What about that? Huh? Yeah. He's like, I won the race. I'm like, great. I'm glad you mentioned that. Here's one where you didn't win the race. Like, I did my research. Like, this guy's not getting away with it. And it felt good. It felt good to get it off my chest. And he's like, do you feel better? I'm like, yes, I feel better.
And see, fortunately, you also got away with it because Dale's a good sport.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the thing. And he wanted that. He's like, I want you to give me a hard time. I want you to disagree with me. That's entertaining. And not to disagree for the sake of disagreeing, but if you have an opinion, share it.
Share it.
And that was a highlight. That was definitely one of the funnier moments that we had on the show. Yeah.
See, that's where what he just said fits into what Tom and I do, because sometimes Tom and I do disagree just for the sake of disagreeing, because, well, it's theater and we can do that. But anyway, Andrew, now I am curious, because you mentioned right off the top the bittersweet feeling of leaving Dirty Mo, but I do want to ask the time frame and the conversation as far as how the pivot to PRN came about over the course of, I guess, really the last about 12 months now. Was it Doug that called you, or did that come later?
That was later. The first conversation I ever had about anything like this, it was in Bristol at the end of the 2024 season. And I had known Brad Gilley just over the years, and we had been very friendly with each other, but I didn't actually really sit down and got to know Brad on a more personal level. And he came up to me. He's like, hey, I got a question for you. I'm like, what you got? And he said, do you have any interest in pit reporting? Is that something that you would be interested in doing with us? I'm like, absolutely. And I'm trying to play it cool, I'm like, yeah, sure, of course. But in my head, and like, this is crazy. I can't believe this is actually happening. So I told him yes. And we put a schedule together for this past year, 2025, to do 6 weekends with them, 3 cup races. And I truthfully hadn't done anything like that before. And it was one of those, there's a few moments, pivotal moments in your career where it's like sink or swim. This is happening or it's not. And again, we kind of go back to the fake it till you make it type of thing. It was the first truck race in Atlanta. And I'm just, tried to sound like all the people that I had listened to growing up. I think I did a good enough job to come back. It seems like. So,
you did.
I appreciate that. But, what was amazing is they allowed me to grow. Like Brad said, listen, all I want for you to get out of this first truck race is for you to have questions for me afterwards. And then we go from there. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. This is unbelievable. And I had just expressed to Brad throughout the season, like, I love doing this. Like, this is something, like, whatever you guys, want to sign me up for, let's do it. And towards the end of this season, we started having conversations about working together. And like I said at the beginning, it was just, this is what I've wanted to do. I fell in love with NASCAR listening to the radio. It's the most exciting way to listen, I feel like, to the races. And it's just I can't believe I've got the opportunity that I have going into this next season. It's really going to be special.
Do you remember what? Because you and I stood just outside the media center. I think it was that morning, going into what
In
would have
Atlanta?
been, I think, in Atlanta, going into what would
Yeah.
have been truck qualifying that morning.
Yeah.
Do you remember what you looked at me and said that morning? I remember this. You looked me dead in the face and said to me, "I have no idea what I'm doing. I just don't want to screw this up." And I remember
True.
telling you, "You're not going to screw it up. It's going to work out okay." And I'm pretty sure now, 10 months later, it's worked out okay. I am curious though. So what in your mind was the biggest challenge in just acclimating to that role this year that you haven't done before?
Well, the live element, and being quick with your words. I apologize because I know I'm very long-winded, even in our conversation
we
here.
are too.
I like to talk, you know.
So do we. You're in the right
And
place.
with a pit stop, it's 15 seconds, maybe. You know, you have to give the essentials and nothing more. And it took time to figure out what to include in a pit stop in the moment as it was happening, what to clean up later, even to just watch with my eyes. Like, I got too caught up in the information when I'm not watching the actual car or truck that's being pitted in the moment. And same with, they gave me a chance to do a turn at the Roval during qualifying, and I was almost over prepared. I wrote out, it's the Ken Squire School of Broadcasting. I had 5 different ways to say this and 5 different ways to say that, and I tried to go through my whole list. And Laura Beth Barnhart, who's our race director, she and she's amazing. I have nothing but great things to say about her. Talk about someone who's helped me grow and progress. It's her. It's LB. But she stopped me midway through qualifying. She's like, just tell us what you see. Just call the cars. Where are they on the track? What direction are they turning? I'm like, okay, this is better. This is helpful. This is what I need. So, just kind of calling the action. I know it sounds simple, but it's like that takes time to figure out and learn. I'm still working on it. I'm still nowhere near mastering or perfecting that, but that's why you go out every weekend and do it. It's all about the reps.
Yeah. I get it. And I grew up doing radio, and I love doing live racing on the radio because it's theater of the mind. You have to paint the picture, whereas TV, the picture's in front of you. So you're just kind of describing it. But I love radio, and I'm going to be just super excited to sort of follow your progress as we get into 26 and you really get the hang of it. We're going to take a break here. When we come back, more with Andrew Kurland. We're going to have some fun with him before we're done with a little rapid fire here on the Tom Baker Show. Stick with us. For over 50 years, FHS Superior Synthetic Oil has powered high-performance engines with unbeatable protection and speed. Whether it's drag racing, go-karts, sprint cars, stock cars, or your daily driver, FHS stands for high speed and delivers every time. Their advanced synthetic oils boost your engine's responsiveness, acceleration, and efficiency, giving you the winning edge on every lap. Visit FHSoil.com today to find the right products for your engine. FHSoil.com.
For race fans across the United States, GetInTheStands.com is the place to find racetracks where you live and where you're traveling. Just go to GetInTheStands.com and enter your location. You'll see the tracks within 100 miles of that point, either as a list or on a map. GetInTheStands.com is 100% free to use and mobile friendly. So whether you're on a computer, a tablet, or on your phone, there's no need to download an app. To find racetracks across the United States, open your web browser and head to GetInTheStands.com. GetInTheStands.com, your racetrack directory.
Attention track and series owners, elevate your fan experience with the TrackTune app. TrackTune works with your PA system. Fans and teams at the track can hear the announcers through their phones, ensuring everyone hears race calls, sponsor plugs, and more during race nights. It's simple to set up, affordable, and free for fans to download and enjoy. Visit tracktune.live for all the details and join tracks nationwide on the app today.
Welcome back to the show. We continue with our special guest, Andrew Kurland. I feel like we need 2 more shows with Andrew Jacob because this is just so much fun.
It is, and I want to slip this nugget in, and I think he's going to appreciate that I slipped this in real quick. So, outside of racing, for those that follow you on Instagram, Andrew, you are not just a now pit reporter for PRN. You're also a triathlete. Where in the world do you find time for that amid everything else you have on your plate?
It was tough last year, especially. I was training for 2 Ironman 70.3s in 30 days, and I really did not have a whole lot of free time outside of work and working out, but it was worth it, I would say.
What sparked that? Was that just you found this and it was something that kind of drew you in like racing did, or?
Yeah, I mean, for me, that's the competition side of it. And I'm not competing against anybody but myself, but I raced in track and field in high school, and I would swim oftentimes to keep my endurance up but not hurt my legs during high school. And I'm like, okay, I can run, I can swim, I know how to ride a bike. Might as well combine all these. And then I'm like, okay, what's like one of the harder things to do? Like, I want to train towards that. I want it to be a big goal. And that was a half Ironman. Now a full Ironman is still on the table. But that's like a part-time job, almost a full-time job to train for one of those. I don't have that type of time yet. So the half Ironmans is where I'll live, but it's awesome. The community is great. It's about the journey, that doing those types of things, and you learn a lot about yourself, and it's what I enjoy to do on outside of the racing stuff.
You are completely out of your mind. I'm just gonna throw that out there right now.
It's a compliment, I think.
Real quick. Yeah. It is.
Tell something he doesn't already know.
You know that.
Yeah.
All right. One more big picture one before Tom gets to have the rapid fire fun. 11 years ago, you were the kid that would be looking for the answer to this question. Now I want you to give the answer to the question. What advice would you give to somebody trying to come up the ranks the way you did?
I mean, it's 2 things. One's kind of a logistical thing, and then one's something with your heart. But the first one is, and this is what Marty Smith told me, is passion is undefeated. Chase the passion. Like, if you love to do it, like that should be the thing that drives it. And it's like, if you love racing, if you just love it unconditionally, this is what you want to do, that will take you to where you need to go. And the second one is connections. Shake hands, hand your business card out. This sport it's a big sport, but it's very small at the same time. And having those connections is key to being able to get where you want to go.
I love that line. Passion is undefeated. That is.
I wish I could take credit for it. That's a Marty Smith line. Yeah.
And Marty's amazing too. He's another one of my my heroes in this, because I just love the style and the authenticity that he has. Okay, time 100%. For a little rapid fire here. All right. We just like to have fun with our guests, so we'll start with this one. If there was a sandwich named after you, what would be on it?
Oh, what would be on it? Banana peppers. I love banana peppers. Give me like a banana pepper, cheese, pickles, and turkey sandwich. It's pretty simple, but banana peppers is the key.
Okay. Banana peppers it is. Who would you most like to sit next to on a 10-hour flight, and why?
I would go with my music idol, Eric Church. I would pick his brain about his songwriting and what's next for him. I'm a very big Eric Church fan. So I would say if I had to be stuck next to him for a flight, it would be him.
So what other types of music, like who are some of your favorite artists? I'm curious because Dale was always a big kind of music guy too.
Yeah, Eric Church is my top. Anytime I get my Apple Music stats, it's always him. I think I've seen him 14 or 15 times in concert, but Kip Moore is amazing. Kenny Chesney. I'm a Hardy fan. Stephen Wilson Jr. I know there's a bunch of other guys I'm missing. I'm a big country music guy though.
It sounds like it. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, so
Yeah.
we all know what your talent is because we see it on display all the time. But what is your most unusual talent?
Oh gosh. You want like really obscure?
Yeah, as obscure as you want to make it. The more obscure, the better.
So, I know how to, this is going to be really dumb. I know how to spawn a helicopter on GTA 5 just by doing the buttons. Like I've memorized the buttons. Like you can hand it to me. I'll give you a helicopter in 5 seconds. I know that's really dumb, but yeah.
Well,
I know it's a weird answer. It's the first one that came
but...
to mind. I was just talking to someone about this the other day. And that's why this came to the top of my mind. But I know it's kind of a weird talent. It's not really a talent, but that's what came to mind.
Well, it is a talent. I don't know if it's a useful talent, but at some
it's
point
not.
it could
Absolutely
be, I
not. No.
Okay.
No
so
use to it.
The next question I'm inspired by because I've heard this kind of thing discussed on the download. If you could keep just 3 apps on your smartphone, only 3, which 3 are you keeping?
The camera, the music app, and we'll go the notes app. I feel like just those are my most used apps, I would say. I use the notes all the time. I got like thousands of notes in there.
Okay. What is something you get wrong almost every time that you do it?
Almost every time. Wow. There's certain, you know how you got like certain words that like no matter how many times you try to spell it, you just can't. They're like, and they're dumb. Like they're simple words.
Oh.
Gosh, now I'm thinking, I don't know why the word definitely comes to mind, but like there's like, and I know it's like really dumb, but like every time I'm like, I gotta like really think hard about how I spell that word. So, sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. I don't know why. It's like everyone has those words, and for some reason that's my word.
That's funny. Well, we appreciate you being with us. In about 10 seconds, how can people follow you on X or wherever you like?
Just search my name, Andrew Kurland TV, on X and Instagram, and check out PRN on all their social channels as well.
Thanks for being with us, Andrew Kurland. We'd love to have you back again soon. And that's going to wrap things up for the Tom Baker Show for this episode. For more great content, steeringwheelnation.com or at The Wheel Nation on Facebook, X, and Instagram. Also, you can catch me on Instagram at Tom Baker TV if you'd like, and the same handle on LinkedIn. Until next time, I'm Tom Baker. Thanks for watching. Have a great week, everyone.